in Chris Gleason now, and I want to talk about elections. And here we go. He's in the green room. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, busy, man. Like a one-arm paper hanger, they say.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm right there with you, buddy. Right there with you.
So first, I want to ask you. I mentioned in the chat, Bongino. What's your thoughts on why he's leaving?
Every day that he stayed at the FBI, they were destroying his podcasting brand, everything that he had built up over the years. Yeah. And he was making a lot of money doing that. Yeah. I'm sure his wife is glad that he's coming home now to Florida. And but at the end of the day, he was put in a really bad situation, right? Because a lot of people were happy. A lot of people had a lot of faith in Dan. Mm-hmm. And, I guess he didn't want to stick around and be there for the irreparable harm that was being done to, his personal brand.
Well, at least we know what happened with JFK. We know what happened in the Vegas shooting, and we know what happened with Epstein. So we're good there, right? So he can leave.
Not even close. I mean, there are some things, some issues, some topics, right, that the illustrious Dan Bongino wanted to go nowhere near. Yeah. Okay, I mean, how many times he had me on over smurfing and election fraud, right?
Yeah, exactly. I can count them on zero hands.
So, and I in the things that we've been doing here, the things that are in our hula hoop, in particular, I had included Director Dan on some emails related to the massive election fraud that we caught here in Florida. And, we know that Dan and we know that Cash and we know that Harmeet have been were reading them. Cash changed his email, so he's no longer on my chains. But, yeah, what a surprise. So, I think what we have to, look at is why, because, that's the best question. My daughters were young, they would always ask, why? But why, Daddy? Why? Mm-hmm. And I think that we, the people whose consent is required for the government to have power, we need to be asking really hard questions. Yeah. Uncomfortable questions of the administration. Because we were sold a bill of goods, right? And there were campaign promises. And, look at President Trump has done a wonderful job. He's done an amazing job. I was talking to some friends just the other day about how wonderful and great a job Trump has been doing. Okay. Mm-hmm. However, there's some stuff. And if they don't address it in an appropriate fashion, quickly yesterday, okay, the midterms are going to be an unmitigated disaster. And, at a certain point, right? At a certain point, Trump got a lot of grace in his first administration with, not knowing the lay of the land and having a lot of duplicitous, treasonous backstabbers in his administration, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, for a guy who made his brand, and I love President Trump. I voted for him three times in the generals, and I've worked really, really hard to help him in every way that I can, right? Mm-hmm. But at a certain point, when does the CEO of the company get held accountable?
We're getting close to that point, I think. I think Bongino, unfortunately, will be remembered for that deer in the headlights interview with him and Cash. There are no Epstein files, like with the gun pointed right here outside the camera that you couldn't see. I mean, that's the way I took that, right?
Well, Todd, as a former military guy, right? Mm-hmm. We swore an oath
We did.
And a lot of our friends didn't come back, right?
Yes.
And in DC, there's this place. It's called Arlington National Cemetery. And there's a lot of people buried there. And there's a lot of people buried in the national cemeteries all over the world, all over the United States. And we owe it to them, right? I mean, so what? Oh, what they're gonna threaten my life. Oh, they're gonna deplatform me, they're gonna debank me. I mean, so what?
Yeah,
so what?
You know, I did a meme in the beginning when all this started. I have to search it out. It was an image of just the Arlington rows of graves, and I put at the bottom, what do you mean you can't get rid of the machines? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's a really good point, Chris.
And so, you know, if he doesn't have people in his administration willing to do what it takes to do the right thing, well, then, you know what? Good. Then maybe Dan needs to be gone, and they need to put somebody in who's willing to step in and do the right thing, right?
What about Bondi? What's your thoughts there?
Scam Blondie. So we know that, I mean, I personally, you know, and I had been holding back on this, but I personally had a conversation with her prior to the primary election. And I explained to her all of the stuff that we saw here in Tampa and Clearwater, Pinellas, Hillsborough, Florida in general, right? And so she's like, oh, well, you got to go and talk to, I think his name's Chance Goodyear from the GOP. He's running election integrity, election day operations. And so I went over, I got his card. I thanked her. I went over, talked to him. I got his card. And I was, you know, hammering him with evidence related to the stuff going down as it went down in August during the primary. And then afterwards, I mean, I had reached out to the U.S. attorney at the time. I've reached out to the U.S. attorney now. I mean, and our investigation hasn't stopped. And the lawfare that we've been waging hasn't stopped, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, you know what we've been up to. I mean, your guests may not, but you know, we had a really important meeting scheduled last Friday. And we were supposed to be meeting with the criminal investigators for the United States Postal Service, right? Because we had been tracking the primary, we had been tracking the general, we had tracked the Gulfport mayor race in March, and we had another race in Seminole for November that had just happened. And we had identified these massive numbers of vote by mail ballots being sent to undeliverable as addressed addresses, right? And so we had questions about this. And earlier in November, John Siamis and myself, we went and we met with the criminal postal inspectors. And they didn't want to have anything to do with the data that we had at the time. You know, we had just gone there for a conversation. And he said, well, bring us evidence of double voting. And when he said that to me, I kind of chuckled. And I'm like, well, you know, that's not where the fraud is. And that's not, you know, we don't actually work for you. You actually work for us. I go, but you know what you might want to do is you might want to go and interview the state attorney for Pinellas County and ask him some questions. And he's like, well, maybe I'll do that. He's like, well, because if he lies to me, he'd be lying to a federal agent. So a couple of weeks ago, we reached out to him and said, hey, how'd that conversation go? Because we'd uncovered a bunch of deeply problematic issues with the state attorney, right? And so where he was having himself and his investigators investigate themselves. And so we laid this out in a big, long email. Harmeet, Dillon, DOJ, U.S. Attorney, they were all copied in on it. And we requested a meeting. As we were getting ready for the meeting, I was getting them some data to review prior to our meeting. And we knew that we were on a timeline for November. So we hit the USPS with a litigation hold, FOIA, and spoliation requests for the ballot imaging for various states for the November election, to include Seminole, Tampa, Hillsborough for those, right? And so the day before our meeting, USPS inspector says, "Oh no, we're not going to be able to meet with you now because you sent us a litigation hold letter." And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, can you answer these questions for us? Because, we have some unanswered questions."
Mm-hmm.
And, so what's going on here with Bruce Bartlett? What's going on? Oh, by the way, Miss Investigator, you as the team lead, apparently your vote by mail ballot and your husband's vote by mail ballot was also illegally requested. Can you explain to us all in this email how you and your husband managed to request your vote by mail ballots on Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
Todd, they haven't gotten back to me. And Armin hasn't gotten back to me. And Kehoe, the U.S. attorney, hasn't gotten back to me. I mean,
it's almost like they want to keep the matrix in place to stay in power or something like that.
I mean, one would think that, right? I mean, where's the smurfing? Where's the Smurf investigation? That was supposed to be, the results of that was supposed to be already put out. And nobody, I mean, I arguably, I am the foremost expert on the smurfing enterprise, and nobody's talked to me. I wonder why.
Your government doesn't care about you. That's why you need a medical emergency kit. It contains life-saving medications like ivermectin, Z-Pak, and antibiotics. Stock them before they block them.
This is a special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
That's one reason I wanted to bring you on, because I will say friendly, a competitor in Conservative Inc. of ours put a big spread out yesterday. Breaking news. Huge money laundering operation inside the DNC. Smurfing. I'm like, wow, the chutzpah, I mean, it's amazing. So,
I mean, we have every single one of these mapped out. I mean, every single one from greatest to least. And for every campaign, I mean, we developed AI to do this, right? And, they want to trot out a developer who oversaw the largest child sex abuse material distribution network, right? And repository known to mankind. And, they rely on her for her data. I mean, it's comical. So
what's your next moves?
Next moves. Well, we're preparing for federal races. A key group of us are preparing to run federally, and that should rustle some jimmies, because ultimately the campaigns become an expose of what really has gone on, kind of like just what we did with Julie Marcus. Because I like standing.
It's like hit the record button. You just get to record everything while you're doing it, right?
Yeah. And, so we have a couple of candidates who have now been harmed several times, myself included. And, this is going to give us the leverage, I believe, to do what we need to do and expose and force the hands of people who have a legal duty to act, but as of yet are refusing to do so.
Wow. I have another question, different subject. Trump is giving out, as of last night, the Warrior Dividend, $1,776 each military active, I guess active and reserve member. I'm not sure. It's 1.4 million, so it must include the reserves. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But is Trump trying to make the military happy for some reason? What do you think?
I mean, they're notoriously underpaid anyways, right? I mean, And I mean, our military doesn't get paid enough. And, so a little extra pay here and there, a little bonus. I think that's a good thing, right? Good for
I
morale.
agree. My take on it was like, wow, he might want to, maybe he thinks he might need these people soon.
That's a very, very strong possibility. It's kind of like when you're getting deployed or when you are deployed, they truck in the steak and the lobsters, right?
Yeah, totally. What else, my friend? Anything else you want to get out?
Some big stuff in Smurfing is coming. Massive stuff. We've rebuilt realtruth.ai from the ground up, and we have some.
Better?
What's that?
I said you keep doing that. Is it getting better and better?
It is getting better and better, as a matter of fact. So, with Grok or Claude or ChatGPT, the context window when you're using it, if you have a premium plan, it gets a little bit better, but it's still nowhere near as good as what we have. So for instance, right on ChatGPT, they have a higher context token window than Grok does. And they have, it's like 256,000 tokens in your session. Well, ours is 40 million tokens within our session.
I'm going to have make realtruth.ai my go-to going forward.
You really should. And, the other great thing that we've just, that we're working on right now, especially in light of what some of the other AI platforms are doing, we're in the process of creating a series of data import tools, so you can import all of your data and conversations from, say, Grok or Chat or Claude or whatever into our system, and then it becomes native within the context of your account within our system. And I mean, this is really, really good stuff. So
you gonna scale that bad boy up on usership, or what's your plan on that?
We're gonna. The plan is to definitely scale it and try to create this real truth, right? Where we're actually not woke, where we're actually not putting out a specific agenda, where the truth is where the truth is. We're doing our best. And
if you want, we can throw that on CDM so people can just go there. I mean,
we should. And so we've got some really, really, really big things that we're working on with this, that we're going to be probably integrating with the Justice Society, and some other neat tools that I think America in general will benefit from, right?
Awesome. So realtruth.ai, where else can people find you?
Well, you can find me on the Miami Independent, and I am on Twitter somewhat, and as Immutable Priced. And I promise I will start posting more on my Substack. I've been a little busy.
Me, I got an email this morning like, why isn't my article published yet? And I'm like, honey, the team is pretty busy right now,
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you, Chris. We'll have you back soon.
Thanks for having me on, Todd. As always, you're one of the very few that will even talk to me anymore.
That's right. Well, now we can brand you, I think, or something. I don't know. See ya. Have a good weekend, and Merry Christmas. Take care.
You too. Merry Christmas.